Hello, everybody. Cylon, Johns, and Jills this week, and we are talking about episode 1 of season 4 of Battlestar Galactica. And as I said to the rest of our panel the other day, from here on out, the shit really goes down. So just get ready for that. We're going to talk about some awesome stuff today. We're going to talk about how the hell is Starbucks still alive? Is she a Cylon or not? Speaking of Cylons, what are they doing with their life and times? And also, who is the fifth that is still left? Oh, yeah, and also there's this thing that Bobby might be right, that Gaius Baltar is Jesus. So, speaking of which, starting from my right, please, ladies, introduce yourselves.
Who's on your right, John?
Yeah, who's on your right? We don't
I said
know.
Bobby. I said, speaking of Bobby.
Hi, everyone.
Starting from her right, please introduce yourself.
You said starting from my right. I was like, what? Which right are you? Anyway, Bobby, go ahead.
Oh, I did. I said hi.
And Bobby, you brought some friends in the chat.
Yeah, Bobby brought a few friends here.
I got a friend in the chat.
Thank you for joining our Battlestar family.
The hobbyist.
You got a friend in chat. You got a friend in chat.
I try really hard to get everybody to come watch, but they're like,
Bobby,
what?
can you adjust your mic and turn it up just a little bit? Is there any way you can do that?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, we just have to be quiet when Bobby
We'll just
talks.
listen very closely.
When Bobby wants to talk, we'll listen.
How about now?
It's a bit better.
Is it good now?
Yes, yeah, that's significantly better. Thank you.
Okay.
Speaking of which, Miss Burns.
Hello, everybody. And yes, we have Johnny also going to troll us in the chat today, and Peter Griffin. So yeah, this episode, we're in the home stretch, people. We got what, 20 episodes left after this one ish. 19 episodes after this. So we're in the home stretch. This has been about what, a year and a little bit. So
A year and change, yep.
Yeah, can't wait to see what happens next. But you know me, who I think's the last one, so I'll shut up for that. Clarissa.
Hi, everybody. Nice to see everyone tonight. I'm really looking forward to this discussion because, as usual, I have opinions.
Not you, Clarissa.
Me? Yeah.
If we didn't have opinions, these live streams would be quite boring. We'd just be like, I agree with you. I agree with you.
Your opinions are the reason that we employ you in your non-paying job.
Yeah. These streams would be 5 minutes long instead of an hour and almost 3 hours long. So anyway.
And finally, the unicorn herself.
Yeah.
No wigs tonight.
Amy,
I know being sick. Happy to. It's been 2. I think it's been 2 weeks. I've missed with various being ill and being busy with work and stuff. So I'm glad that I'm back.
Oh yeah, given your line of work, I mean, this time of year is just like fucking insanity.
This time last month, this time last month, I was telling you guys, oh my god, it's so busy, it's insanity. I had no idea because it's leveled up, shall we say?
Oh no, level up.
Yeah, not good. I'm pretty fucking tired.
Yeah, and you got like only like 2 weeks left. I don't know, like
yeah, I'll be off most of Christmas week, but
yeah.
We just lost Clarissa.
I think she might be got something on her phone or something.
Oh, okay.
Johnny, why is a unicorn the perfect date? If you didn't read the chat, because it's Johnny.
Yes, speaking of which, Johnny Christ Superstar is in the chat. Peter Griffin. And we have some girl named Bobby Catalano.
Oh, Bron Holland's just popped in as well.
Ron Holler popped
No.
in. Yes.
Yeah, who is this person named Bobby Catalano? I don't know who she is.
Me either.
Same thing with House of the Conqueror. Who's that? They haven't shown up in a long time. But it's due to I think they said that they've been busy. Danny McKay is also in the chat with us.
East Coast, we've had some serious weather issues today, so we have the Hobbyist, new friend of the channel. Thank you for coming out. We Danny McKay.
Yeah, we got our friends in the chat.
Oh, Julianne89 as well.
Julian 89, of course.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Everybody?
Yeah, we've got you now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent.
If you check out any of the stuff on my channel, Julianne89 does all my artwork for me, and it's absolutely fracking amazing. Because she's absolutely fracking amazing.
Mhm.
And speaking of fracking, Starbuck and Sam get their little meetup moment together.
Did you want to talk about the change in the John? Did you want to talk about the change in the title sequence?
Yeah, in just a second, but I do want to address, like, initially starting from the beginning of this episode, is Starbuck lying, or was she gone for 6 hours? While the rest of the fleet has been away from her for 2 months.
I don't see why she would make that up. She even said it was on the ship's clock. And I think since season 1, I've maintained that there's some like weird time travel shit going on. So I think she's telling the truth.
Well, even with time travel, though, how do you take that old beat up nasty, like, I remember when I had a 1983 Mercury Grand Marquis, like, how do you turn it into a brand new Corvette? Whether it's 2 weeks or 6 hours, it's still.
I'm going to cross.
Marquis.
I'm going to cross my fandoms here, and the only explanation I have is wibbly wobbly timey wimey.
I'm going to second that motion.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Timey-wimey.
It's a Doctor Who thing.
Did I get it right?
So I don't know the reference, but I feel like well, because it was like that, and whatever the nebula was called, like that probably changes space or whatever, like in time in space, because we all know space, time, and travel is so vast depending on how fast or slow. So for her traveling through it and then back, 6 hours kind of makes sense, but for the rest of space in that timeline, it was over 2 months. It's plausible.
I'm asking, though. I'm not asking about the time differentiation, which you have all established that you think is going on here. I'm asking, how did her ship go from being like this beat up old jalopy to like brand fucking spanking new?
Well, that's the question, isn't it?
And it's a good one.
That's why I asked it.
No, the show already asked that.
They kind of
They gave
answered
us a ship that nobody knows why. I mean, why would we know why?
But maybe it's
Why would
part
we
of
know?
the wibbly wobbly timey wimey.
Right.
It have had some effect on the ship and like turned the ship itself back in time to when it was new.
Right.
So did it turn Kara back where she was new and she didn't need a shower?
No, it had a different effect on her.
Is everybody getting younger?
Imagine it's like Kara Thrace from season 1 showed up. It's like, hey everybody! It's like
that's why the babies never grow up.
I know that there was there's a discrepancy of the episode where she dies, and the episode now in terms of like the hair.
I was just going to say her hair's suddenly a lot longer again.
But it could be just
Right?
because they didn't want to cut it they messed with the continuity of like cutting her hair, making sure it was the exact same length as when they left the show. Because it was like, I guess 6 months from then filming Razor or whatever, when they probably started filming for season 4 or something like that. It was probably like not that long ago, but they probably just didn't bother. Like, no one's gonna pay that much attention. Like in 2000, whenever this show like actually aired, but now we're like, what is this? Like looking at it like strangely.
Right.
I just had this like imagining of Kara trying to convince them. I went to Earth. I went and landed and got extensions. Okay, I was there.
Damn it.
Your hair grows faster on Earth. Did you know that? Like in space, you know.
Maybe
the
it's
space
gravity.
water-
It's not
Actually,
gravity. If she's been on a planet, you know, the gravity pulling down on her hair, making it grow
Right.
faster.
Oh, yeah, there you
I
go.
was going to say, Amy's right. That is literally true. Your hair
Is it
would
really?
grow faster on Earth than it would in space.
Okay, I was just being silly. Genius.
Absolutely.
Totally.
Maybe it's one of those things where it's like your hair just grows faster on Earth. In 6 hours, my hair just grew like a couple inches longer. You know.
By the way, guys, you know the meme thing we were talking about before the show. It's
Yes.
in the.
I had a ding in my ear, so I was like, oh,
It's
It's in
it's
the-
in
sorry?
it's in the Hangouts.
yeah.
Chat.
Oh,
But
All right.
Julian,
I couldn't resist.
Okay,
Julian poses
definitely.
an interesting question, though.
Mackenzie,
Julian
is
says
there
if we're
any
having
way you can show that for a second? You're far more technologically savvy than I am.
yeah, give me
Could
one
we show
second.
this amazing meme that
Yeah, give me 1 second. Just gotta close that. Doo-doo. So-
Bobby says fracking rocket science panel?
So you have to click. You also click on it, John, or it says my screen. So it's a
not okay, Boomer.
For context,
Oh my god.
we were talking about OK Boomer meme thing that's going around at the moment, and it was mentioned the moment in is it season 1?
yeah, season 1. Yeah.
So it just had to be done.
Oh no.
Not okay, Boomer. That's fantastic.
That's fucking brilliant.
Especially too with the fact that the
There
edges
you
of
go. My gift
cut off.
to you all.
Thank you, Amy. It's
It's very-
beautiful.
like the detail too with the whole fact that there's like the edges are cut off, like the.
I can't take credit for that. The picture was already like it, but it was. I thought it looked pretty cool.
Oh man.
That's so good.
Ah, Jesus mercy.
You just made my week.
Early Christmas present.
Yeah, Julian says that Adama's face in this picture. Yeah, he's like smiling for some stupid reason.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's a grimace. He's like,
Yeah.
ugh.
Yeah.
That's what
So-
makes the thing even more funny because it's like he's saying it. That's just
Yeah, like not okay.
Not
Yeah.
okay.
So everybody for next week, you should get your okay boomer memes ready. And-
Or not okay, Boomer memes.
Not okay boomers.
Yeah.
And submit them to or
So-
send them to us or whatever, and we'll we'll feature them next week.
Oh.
I don't even know if I
House
can
of
go
the
on for a
Conqueror.
minute.
All right, I
I'm
can
gonna
take
waffle
over.
for a second because I'm.
Oh, dear.
I can't stop laughing.
John's going to print that off and put it on his wall now.
It's so
Yeah.
true.
He's gonna have it framed or whatever.
Get it printed on a t-shirt.
It's pretty
So-
funny.
So while John collects himself, why don't we talk about the fact that the title
Intro.
sequence has changed?
Yeah.
Yes. I was just straight away went, ooh.
So it says it's like 7 are known, 4 live in secret, and 1 to be revealed, or something like that. Along those
One
lines.
will be revealed. I have a question about that.
If anyone else had been in slight denial, like me, that those 4 were definitely 4 of the 5, now you know you're
See,
wrong.
that's the thing. Is I'm questioning, do they mean, first of all, do they mean
Yeah, Amy, have you been
one will be revealed like the last one, or will one of the 4 be revealed?
I know you missed a couple of episodes. Were you here for the reveal episode, Amy?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought so.
Yeah, that was
But,
Crossroads Part 2.
yeah, but it was. I was sort of thinking, but really, are they? And still had a few sort of niggly doubts until that bit, obviously.
It seems like they didn't pick them. Like this wasn't planned from the beginning. Like these were the exact people from like the beginning, like season 1 or season 2-ish, when most of these characters really get fully introduced. It wasn't like from then. It feels like they almost waited until the last.
But what if it was
the episode when Sam was first introduced that week? I said he was a Cylon.
Mm-hmm.
You did?
I thought it was weird.
I think like a couple of us.
And then I kept it up for a few weeks, and then let him off the hook, and then never went back to him. So it's like,
and then
you gone with the
then
first
you're like,
instinct.
wait. Yeah, it's like, and then it's like, wait.
Well, I've actually because I sit here at the end of each season and I go through the notes. Now, Amy, statistically, over the course of this series, has got more correct Cylons than anybody else. But Mackenzie,
I was about to say, I was like, wait.
No. I'm saying statistically, like if you count every single week, who am I going to say is a Cylon?
Oh, like I stuck with Sam and Tyrrell for weeks and weeks and weeks, I think, didn't I?
Yeah, so statistically, Amy has won so far. But Mackenzie, I mean, you knocked it out of the ballpark for like the last 4 episodes before that fucking reveal. You were like, it's Skrull and it's Tori and
because I came to this realization, like I say every week, that the main 5 characters, the Adamas, Rosalind, Starbuck, like it wouldn't make sense for the people on top to be the ones that we're waiting to figure out if they're the Cylons or not. It just doesn't. As from a story perspective, at least for me, it just wouldn't make much sense to be like, really, you put every single informed person in charge as the Cylon, so it's like the assistants almost make more sense. Or have
and you had asked me, I remember, I think this was the end of 3.5.
Something
you asked me, who did I think were the Cylons at that time?
Mm-hmm.
Or it was right after the episode that revealed that there were 5 more.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay, I'll give you my total honest answer. Who did I think they were at that time? And my guesses were very, very different from yours. I mean, I remember, I mean, this was like 10 years ago, but mine were Adama, Zarek, Rosalind, Ty,
and Coddle, I think you said. But you said Coddle.
Yeah, no, not Ty, Coddle and Baltar.
Yeah, you said it was, because I remember you saying Coddle. I was like,
because that would be terrifying if you're one doctor in the fleet. Well, besides the psychopath, the racist Nazi psychopath doctor, outside of him, like your one doctor in the fleet is actually the Cylon. That'd be terrifying.
Yeah. It's quite interesting, though, that they changed the title sequence to the last season, but they didn't specify that they still have a plan, which I know we talked about a bit pre-stream. They're like, so they don't have a plan anymore, I guess. Or they just took that out and they still do have a plan. Maybe they do because of what happens in the beginning of this episode still with Anders and the Raiders.
Yes. Yes. Very important moment. Does anybody else have any thoughts about the opening title sequence before we actually dive into this episode?
I'm just kind of questioning whether the question or whether the statement at the end means, like, just grammatically, are they saying one will be revealed, that one of the people we already know will be revealed to the people on the show? Is that what they mean?
I think it's just
Or
the
that will
last
be
of the
revealed
final five is going to be revealed.
It's going
still.
to be revealed. Okay.
Yeah.
No,
think
but
that's
you're
what they mean by
are you asking? Are they going to be revealed to the fleet, or are they going to be revealed to the audience? Is that what you're
Yeah,
asking?
that's my question. Is like, will by that phrase, did they mean one of the four that we know are Cylons as audience members? When they say, will one be revealed, do they mean one of those people will be revealed to the fleet?
Mm.
Is that what
Probably-
that meant grammatically? Or did they mean
No, I think
the
they're,
last Cylon
they're
will be
alluding to
revealed
the
to
last
us?
Cylon.
I
Like the
took it
last-
as like to themselves, in the same way that the other four were, that they discovered that they were, that there's going to be the last one when it means revealed, like it meant to themselves that they would come to the realization.
And in answer to your
Okay.
question, grammatically, it could be either.
Okay.
Like
That's what I was
literally
thinking too as I
grammatically,
was
it could be
reading
either.
it, and I was just thinking, am I reading this right? Because
Well-
to me, it sounded like they were saying of the four that have already been revealed to the audience, one of them will be exposed to the fleet and deal with consequences, kind of idea.
It seems like if one of them is, they all will. It's like, I'll drag you down with me, security. But I feel like it's because they've had the whole, in the previous version of this, it's like that there's missing ones and stuff like that. So it's like just you have to figure out who the last one is, which is I think is the overall mystery of this, I guess, half-ish of this season is like who is the last Cylon that is yet to be revealed almost.
Right.
I have zero
That was
guess.
Which we will definitely talk about at the end of the episode because I want everybody's final Cylon prediction after this episode.
You already got
I
it.
expect that perhaps it's deliberately ambiguous, so you don't actually know which one it means.
That's what I was wondering more than anything was, is it supposed to be ambiguous that way? Or am I just a dummy? I can't figure it out for myself.
It's
Okay,
open to
okay,
interpretation.
If I may say something,
Mm-hmm.
if you look back at the series, if you like rewatch it from the beginning, Ron and Dave have always played fair. And you know by the end of season 2 who every Cylon is.
I
Yeah.
didn't.
Yeah, I feel like again with what I've been saying.
Which I love. Like, I read mystery novels. I love mystery novels, and I love when a mystery writer plays fair. You know, it's not some Deus Ex Machina that
Do you
comes
mean
out.
like if you go back and watch it when you've
if
watched
you
all
go
of
back,
it?
you're like, oh
You'll see
shit.
him.
Yeah, it's like if you know the mystery, then it makes all the points make sense. Yeah. So once we get to, I guess, whatever the last episode is called, that if we go back and look at all the clues, it'll make sense.
You will find out the
Oh,
last Cylon long before the last episode.
How satisfying would it be, though, to go back and binge the whole thing from the beginning?
Right?
I know that
Oh, yeah.
We've all been so good and just
I
done one
know-
episode a week.
I know because we've done this, that there's a podcast or something that watches this show in reverse order. It's like they watch it from the last episode and try and figure out how it works to the beginning. I'm like,
Really?
what? Yeah, it's like this Twitter account followed me on Twitter at one point, and I'm just like, they watch it backwards. I'll try and
Then you
find out what the name is.
you really don't want to start the episode with previously on Battlestar Galactica.
I know. It was like, what? When I was like, when they followed me, I'm like, we watched Battlestar Galactica, but backwards. I'm like, what? I'm
And
like,
then
why
run
are
away
you-
in case of spoilers.
It's like, why
In
would you
reverse
do
order.
that to yourself? I'm
Yeah,
like,
don't put that link up for a couple of months, please.
no, I know. It was just like I just like looked at the bio. I'm like, you watch it in reverse order? I'm like, that's weird. But I didn't look any further. I was just like, you watch this in reverse order? And then I forgot about it.
Yeah. I think I
I
gotta
can
say
see, and are they all first-time watchers?
Yeah, they were watching it for the first. I think it was like they were watching it for the
Wow.
first time in backwards order. I'll try and find it.
Like,
So
there
they
are
came
shows
up with
that
all
I
the
wish I could-
answers, but they
You don't know any of the questions.
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
you're all like,
Um,
what does this have to do with anything? Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
What does this make sense?
Hmm.
Hmm.
That's an interesting way to do it.
I wish I would have done that with Heroes.
Oh, I think we all wish that the end had been the beginning with Heroes.
It's called, John, for your interest, it's called Battlestar Galactica.
Okay,
That's a great name.
nice. Very nice.
All right.
So yeah, we've got past the opening credits, and let's go into the meat. and
Kara's
potatoes.
return.
Kara Thrace is still alive. And that's
Knew
a
it.
mighty fun ship she has.
I didn't think she was
What?
gonna come in a ship. Like I thought she was gonna appear like
She just popped
they
up.
were gonna find her on some planet or something.
No, she's too busy killing Cylons.
Yeah, and Lee. Lee's trying to follow her at the same time. But they all are in the air pretty much. Everybody who can fight is fighting. Including Anders. Which
Yeah. What happened with Anders? First of all, he was just like, I don't know if I could do this.
Yeah, and Tyrell just like tells him like, shut the fuck up.
Oh my god.
Like I love badass Tyrell. Like badass Tyrell is awesome.
Well, he has to yell at Nuggets all day. He gets to yell at Nuggets sometimes.
Right, but you rarely get to see him pull that out. Like you rarely get to see. Usually, or I'm sorry, not Anders. Tyrell.
Mhm.
Like, usually, when you see Tyrell, he's like, oh, okay, guys. Like I was young too. I love all those. Some of my favorite moments in this entire series are when Tyrell's just like, shut the frack up. Do your job.
I don't think Terrell should yell.
People listen to him more when he's like that, though, don't they? Because it's not really his normal character to be kind of yelling at them like you need to do this and you need to do this now, because he's normally a lot more relaxed and calm.
Right, exactly.
So it's like a
Saul
shock
Todd
to them.
yelling at you, you're like,
Okay, boomer.
on the other hand, if Tyrell yells at you, you're like,
That's
okay,
funny.
what the fuck? I should maybe
Yeah.
pay a little attention to this. So yeah, Kara's back. What the fuck?
Well, they also did.
The frack.
Wait, we missed the whole like mini conversation with Tyrell and Anders when Sharon shows up, and they're like, she didn't even like notice any difference between the two of us. It's like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Like the fact that she acted like they were just average humans and not like her family, quote unquote, because they're the Cylons, was quite interesting. It makes you go, because they're not
True. But
programmed
at
to
the
think
same
that way.
time, they didn't stop her, look deep into her eyes, and be like, wow.
It's not a raider or a centurion where it's like, well,
What, do
It
you
was
guys
looking him
want
in
to
the eye.
that was going to be the second topic that I wanted to talk about.
Right. Sorry.
What's
but-
going on during the raid? But I'm just wondering, like, and this does go back to the end of season 3. Like, what are everybody's thoughts about Kara? Do you think she's real? Do you think she's actually a Cylon?
I don't think she's a Cylon.
Think that there's some weird time warp that like fixed her fucking ship and she was only gone for 6 hours and got like in Grand Theft Auto when you drive into the garage and like
it's funny that you say that because I've been saying about the Westworld vibes how this is almost like a game. Like she blew up, but then she came back. Is it because like she got another life, a reset, and like got so many points that she was able to like upgrade her ride?
I don't know. I'm really in two minds because I think I've said more than once that like suspected her of being a Cylon, and the fact that she kind of says out loud, maybe they've taken my DNA and made copies of me, kind of thing, and because of them holding her for ages on Caprica and New Caprica. I think she, is her saying that kind of, is it a red herring, like making her say it out loud, like everyone's going to go, oh, well, of course, like she wouldn't be saying it if it was true? Or is it the other way around, that the fact that she is saying it is supposed to make you think, well, no, she's not, but actually she's right, and that is what happened? It's really difficult to call it.
Right? The show!
I don't think she is. I think she, like, as an Cylon, but I feel like she's important for the Cylons in terms of endgame, like how Baltar is important for endgame of this show. Like, they're not. I don't think Baltar is obviously one of the last Cylon or such, but he is affiliated with the Cylons, like how Kara eventually will be. I know, John. She said that she, if Anders was a Cylon, that she'd shoot him in the head. But I feel like there's going to be a situation where they're like, he's important for the future.
Yeah, I think that was like foreshadowing. It was.
Did anybody else almost do a spit take during that scene?
Yeah.
Like, I remember the first time I watched it, and he's like, "No matter who you are, like, I love you, Sam. You're a better man than I am because if I found out you were Cylon, I'd put a hole in your head." Like,
yeah,
It's not very
like,
nice.
I remember the first time I watched that, and I was like, "Yeah, it was total spit take moment."
I think she would too.
Well, yeah, I think she would. But what if she is the last Cylon? We have a couple other candidates to come
Dun,
up.
dun.
John is making funny comments in the chat. He's saying that Kara's not only back, she's clean as a whistle, almost like she showered for the first time in 2 seasons. I think Kara went and got a colonoscopy. What if Kara is one of the Borg? LOL. I don't know.
Yeah, not a
Yeah.
Cylon, but
Or what if Kara came from Planet of the Apes and was the daughter of Carlton Heston or something?
Charlton
no.
Heston.
She is pretty good with gun.
But we know. But are they allowed to turn the guns on each other? Like, or like, would the Final Five be able to turn the guns on each other? That's the thing.
Well, yeah, which gets us to our next topic. What in the frack happened during that raid? I mean, even Ty and Adama were like, they had us. Like, we would have gone down.
Rosalind thought that too. She was
It
like,
did
"We're all
seem
gonna
to
die."
be because of that moment between Sam and the Raider. But I wonder if it's like, because the Raiders are sort of this, like, sort of lower level thing as such, like they're one of the first flesh and machine hybrids, but not
They're
as
like
in the
the-
ship hybrids. I wonder
Yeah,
if there's like some sort of base level frequency or something that they tune into. The later models just it's not really like it would happen with them, but they'd have to like really concentrate kind of thing because they have like a higher intelligence, and there's more stuff going on, whereas the machine is more like an animal. So it's like an instinctive thing. Yeah, it's like an instinctive thing.
Yeah.
Like or how the senses work differently.
Yeah.
Well, you
You know,
remember if you remember back to season 1, when
she was treating it like a pet, wasn't she?
when she's like, you have to treat it like an animal, like
Well-
it's not as smart as the human models, but it
Well,
If you imagine it was like the
It's kind of
difference
like-
between, say, a human and a dog is that a dog would recognise another dog's smell long before the human realised there was another dog there.
Mhm.
Does that make sense?
Yes. Yeah, like what you're
Yeah.
saying is basically that it's like the Raiders are a mix between the Centurions and the skin jobs, and like how they recognize that this is a skin job Cylon and not just a regular person almost, because there's probably something within the eyes, like the retina scans.
But they could have like some
But-
embedded
Or
program. Maybe they know. Maybe it was actually recognition, because it would be like they kind of recognise their superiors as such, and if they've been around longer than the human models, so they might have like some sort of memory, but they're not able to communicate in the same way as the human models are. So they can't just turn around and go, "Oh, hey, I know him because I've seen him before," and recognise them straight away. Whereas the human models have it's like a big secret thing, isn't it? Who they are. So they wouldn't recognise them. It could be just as simple as that.
in the scene, I think the way it was shot was awesome. Like, I remember the chills that went up my spine the first time I watched this episode when Anders' eye,
That little red flash.
whoa.
Wow.
Because we've never seen any of the human models do that, have we?
Right, and you're like, oh my gosh, what the fuck just happened?
Like,
What
can
if
they
they're
all
doing-
do it, or was that like a special Anders
What if-
superpower?
What if Anders is extra special? Oh.
Well, and here was sort of my take on it, and very, very much the same as yours, Amy. But I think that whole that eye thing had a lot to do with the fact that Anders is one of the final 5. Like, there has to be a reason. Like, even Six says when she's talking to Rosalind later in the episode, she's been programmed not to think about them, right? So there's some kind of power that this final 5 have that the other Cylons don't, or insights that they have buried in them.
I wonder
that
if
their mission is ultimate of some kind.
Do you think Six is telling the truth?
what she gained from lying, really, about it. I think they've mentioned it's,
but that's my job, is to ask these questions.
Deanna, though, and Cavill sort of had a conversation about that it's sort of a forbidden thing. So I think Six is telling the truth, but I think rather than
it's established.
we've called them the final 5 constantly. I wonder if it's actually a case of they're the original 5. They created they're the first
it seems like
human models, and they've created the other ones, and there's something to do with that, is that they don't want the other ones to know it was them that made them. Like,
I am familiar with this one dude who calls himself the Alpha and the Omega.
so they're
Okay,
collectively they're the Cylon
we'll get
God.
there.
Oh, I'm just throwing this out there. Throwing it out there. You can throw it right back.
We'll probably get to the origin stories of the Cylons. But yeah, Amy, I think that's what they're alluding to is the fact that these ones were very important in the beginning, because we have to remember that they were there before / fighting in, well, Ty was anyway in the first Cylon, before the first Cylon War. So it makes sense that they would be the original 5, because like what's another word for final, like the beginning or the first or whatever. So yeah, it makes sense that they would be, and it also makes sense that at least one of them is an older person, but then some of them are younger, like or younger looking. It makes sense, and there could be something to that and the aging process, because they haven't really explored the established, like the pure Cylons, but skin jobs and how they age and how that works, and if they
They
age
don't
like the rest
seem
of
to
them.
really, do they? It's.
I
Well,
mean,
mind you, it's been. I mean, they wouldn't have aged a huge amount since the beginning of the series, I suppose.
Yeah, it's like that idea. It's like, if they age, how does that work? And maybe that's part of the mythology of the show. Because I think why also Hera is so special is because she will be half human and she will be able to age, just how I know this is weird, but like how in Twilight, how Renesmee is able to grow up to a certain point and then she just stops growing, but she was a baby and then she grew up to a certain point. So it's like, how does that work? How
She just like turned into an older child within a matter of weeks or something.
Yeah, it's like, but she grew, but progressively growing up. Like Hera, even though she's slow, like a real child, it's
Human
like she's
rate,
still
yeah.
growing up, but she's still growing up. So it's like one of those things. Like, how do
Bobby,
you grow
you've
up?
been very quiet tonight. What are your thoughts?
Bobby's watching the chat for us.
She's like the chat goddess tonight.
She's communicating with Johnny, who's making funny comments.
Johnny be ridiculous.
Johnny Christ Superstar.
Yeah.
I am building my temple to Johnny. If anybody else wants to get in on this cult, let me know.
I think it's a good
I
call.
think, but like the other thing too about the whole Anders thing is like, because that happened and the rest of them obviously weren't in a position to get into a raider, that there could be that too as well, like the fact that he's able to fly, and then the whole thing with, at the same time, how Ty has this flash in his head of shooting Adama in the head, I believe, and then like you see the immediate fallout afterwards, but then it's all a vision. So it's like,
did you think it was real for just a moment?
No,
yeah,
it's like,
you know what?
Out too many times.
Pulling the gun, I did, but I think the fact that he just shot him point blank in the head, it was like, he's
It's a bit far.
It was
Bill,
like him.
I've never felt better. Like I remember the first time I watched that, and I was just like, "What the fuck?"
I mean,
and then like 10 seconds later, they're like, "Okay, no, this is just all going on in his head."
it's because Ty did say, like, in the last chronological episode, like the finale of season 3, he said we have to act like nothing's wrong and nothing has changed since this has happened. So like Ty pulling up his gun and then shooting him in the head is just like,
it was like a paranoia thing, I think, of him panicking that he could do the same thing that Boomer did, but that he would go for the head, whereas she shot him in the gut. So,
Johnny, I was hoping Adama was dead. He's lived long enough. Johnny! Joking.
Told you, Johnny, be bad.
Yeah, but it was interesting the fact that also Tori was standing next to Rosalind, and then when obviously all of them go away, she's like, something has changed, and they're like, it's like, you leave that ominous note. Like,
they're just like looking at each other like,
it's like, maybe something has changed. It's like, no shit. It's like, but it's like almost like, what's your first clue?
Yeah, which begs the question, like, why did the Cylons bugger off? Like,
Anders is
why did they scan Anders? They get his eye.
I think that the mission of the final 5 of the unknown Cylons, I think their mission supersedes everything else and overrides everything else.
Like some sort of override signal, maybe.
Like Boomer couldn't, or not Boomer, but Athena couldn't make a Raider turn away like that. But I'll bet that Anders or Tori or Tyrell or Ty could probably all do that.
Who's your number 5?
Or whoever the missing one is, right?
We'll wait for that. We've got one more Cylon left. And I'm sorry, I love torturing you people every week.
Yeah, it could. I'm just not sure though if like turning, because we know it can turn the Raiders away, but would it turn the other people away? Like, would it turn like Diana away or like Simon away? Like, would it be like not turn them away, but like make them stop what they're doing?
It would
stop them in their tracks almost.
Well, they have 3 base stars.
Yeah, so there were other.
I think. I mean, the communication that obviously went on. Maybe that's like that signal got communicated to all the rest of the ships because it like a virus. So it's not necessarily the Cylon human models that are on those ships controlling them that made the decision to leave.
They aren't controlling them. The hybrids are controlling them.
Well, yeah, so maybe the hybrids got that signal and they made the decision to jump away. And the others are going to be like, what the hell, why have we left? They're going to be just as confused as the humans are that they didn't finish them off.
What if John just might have tipped me off for a second. He said the hybrids only turned them away. What if Anders end up turning into a hybrid?
That would be really fucked up.
Like,
what kind of weird ship would he control?
What if he's turning into it? What if his end mission is that he becomes, because wasn't there the hybrid in Razor? So it's like. So,
oh yes, there was a hybrid in Razor who said something very important.
So there could be.
Remember that really important thing that hybrid said
about Starbuck being a harbinger of doom,
and they had to find her.
It would bring about the end of humanity.
Kara Thrace
bring humanity to the end,
to its end.
Mm-hmm. But I interpret that as it's the end of the journey to find Earth. But when he's saying it's a harbinger of doom, maybe it's because when they will get to Earth and it's not like as they were expecting. There must be a reason why humanity left it in the first place.
Like you think you're going to Disney World and you actually end up at like a Waffle House.
Yeah, like it's been so long since they left there that they don't remember why they ever left Earth and what the technology was advanced enough that they were able to leave, establish colonies, and then forget all this stuff. So, you have no idea what happened on Earth to make them leave. It makes me think of WALL-E, and there's just all
that
the
is
rubbish.
A very clever leap of logic. I like that. I'm gonna put that one in my pocket.
I just had this vision in my head, and the Earth wasn't what they thought it was going to be. I just see the landing and like doing recon. Why does that transport vehicle have testicles?
Oh, Jesus.
Have you seen these? Amy, have you seen them in the UK at all? Truck nuts?
No.
Have you seen these?
Truck nuts.
Yeah, they're like rubber testicles that people hang at the back of their pickup trucks.
Do you know what it made me think of?
They're called truck nuts.
See, when you said
I was
that,
just
it made me
thinking.
think of
We thought we found paradise. We found a place that their transport vehicles have testicles.
I thought you were talking about Transformers. There's a bit in the second film where there's the wrecking ball one and they're swinging.
Oh my!
Yeah, they get to Earth and the Transformers have taken over.
I mean,
my
that wouldn't
gosh.
be.
Fuck, there's another kind of robot.
Dang it! And then that's like the
Damn
next
it.
spin-off that like is
Yeah.
reportedly
But
happening.
no, like Wally, that makes sense. Like, you know, humanity go off into space because they've fucked the planet and they're like, shit, you know, we're going to go off and we'll leave these guys to clean it up. And then it's 700 years later and it was only supposed to be 5. And they can't, humanity have lost their way as such.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Wally's a Cylon.
Uh-oh, we lost John, but we're still alive. Oh, there we go. Now we're back.
John.
I am never going to watch Wally
He's
in the same
back.
way ever again now.
Hi, Dark
That's
Mother.
funny.
Dark Mother, what's up?
Um,
Good to see you there. Yes,
we
so I love when
So yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to derail anything, but just
no,
as,
don't worry about it.
as you were
we go on
describing
this
Earth not
intense-
being what they had expected it to be, I was like, what would they think of if they landed on Earth today and saw what was there? Like, what things would they be like? What the frack? Truck nuts, yeah. Truck nuts would be like, what? This
Truck
is what
nuts
we
and
came
McDonald's.
to?
No, as we go on through this series,
So. Yeah.
Whether
But anyway,
you as the panel are right or wrong, I love that as we go on with the series, you're more into espousing your theories. And I get to hear this because, you know, I mean, I've told the story a million fucking times.
Oh, we lost Cliff. She'll be back.
But, you know, I remember watching this episodically. So for me, it's like my roommate and I would get off, like we would watch the episode and then we'd get finished and we'd go to the pub and meet up with some friends of ours, and we would all talk for like hours about like what the fuck just happened.
Yeah.
You know, and so I am delighting in sharing this with you.
Have we
to
come
go over
out
it
with some
all
similar
over again.
theories that you guys
sorry
do?
I missed all that because everything was quiet. I lost audio, so I had to. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So
Can you hear?
what? I missed that. I missed the whole
It
thing
was-
John said.
John
As
just
soon as you started talking, I was like, nothing. There was nothing.
basically John's reliving his BSG glory days with us.
Oh,
So,
Basically.
No, I was just saying that
reminisce face.
I love listening, having these conversations with all of you because because I remember when I first watched this show, like getting together with my mates, and we would, right after the episode ended, we would like sit and talk. We'd meet up at the pub and we would sit and talk for like hours about like, oh, what do you think this is going on? Do you think this is going? What the fuck do you think's happening? Who do you think of the last Cylons? Like, you know, in being that you're all my friends, I enjoy sharing that with you. Like, I think it's one of the things that you lose in this day and age, binging shows. Don't get me wrong; it can be there can be a certain level of satisfaction to binging a show, but
Yeah.
there's something you get from like, holy shit, what did I just watch? And
Well,
now I'm
it's a-
gonna have to wait a week to find out what I just watched, or I'm gonna have to wait 3 fracking months.
have any of the things that we've come out with as it's gone on been similar to what you and your friends were thinking at the time when you were watching it for the first time?
Oh yes, absolutely, absolutely.
We lost Clarissa again. Wow. When she comes back.
Something's going on with Western Canada, I guess.
I don't know. I guess it's her internet or something.
Amy,
But-
what are you making?
A balaclava. My very strange 7-year-old decided that she really, really wants a balaclava instead of a normal hat, and she chose some of the hand-dyed yarn I got kicking around. So I am kind of making it up as I go along.
Awesome.
Oh, so nice. Don't worry, Claire, so you didn't miss it. We made sure to stop before.
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
Yeah, but no, that's great. Yeah, the things that we would be thinking. I will tell you, at the end of season 1, I was convinced that Starbuck was a Cylon. And I also thought Apollo was. And I also thought Ty was.
We were right on one of them.
And I
You were right on
always
one,
thought Tyrell.
potentially right on one more.
Mm-hmm.
I always thought Tyrell was.
I think I did quite early
Yeah,
on,
okay,
and
yeah.
again, I changed my mind ages ago and was like, nah, it's not him. So I'm so confused now about Callie's baby because I don't think it's his baby. I think it's
Me
someone
too.
else's.
Well, we were
So-
discussing how the whole love element. We don't know that there hasn't.
So what?
Like-
Mama's baby, Papa's maybe?
Well, I mean, the thing is that the parents
what
were
we got
actually in
going on?
love. Like, if love is the catalyst for pregnancy between
ingredient.
humans and Cylons, then do we know of any other male Cylons
Well,
that
whose baby would it
loved
be?
a human woman?
My
What?
Okay. I think I said this before, and Bobby, I don't think you were here when I said it. I was like, they have to pick somebody who we know of, but is not a random person from like far, far away. Like Randy, the random Marine, is not his kid. So my thought was the only person that seems to pop up in occasional situations, and most of his conversations are about sex, is Hot Dog. So
I was
I
just
think
going to
if
say, maybe Hot Dog got his rash from Cal.
that's the only person that I
know,
could
I think
think
if
of
they'd-
that is not a
if-
random person.
Oh,
That
I
would
think
really-
it being a random person would make more sense because we haven't seen any sort of love interest for Callie other than the fact that she always kind of hero worshipped Tyrell. So it would be
Drunken
really weird
Sprite.
if like suddenly one of her colleagues that we've seen loads that they had some relationship and it was never shown.
man,
That
make
would be
Well,
really odd.
statement.
Well, there's like the Baltar and Starbucks situation. Like we never talked about that again. So it's probably could have
True.
been one of those situations.
But we know it happened. Like we knew at the time that it happened.
Yeah.
It was part of the
Oh.
story. And
But-
if Callie had a significant relationship with somebody else, then you would think that you would have seen it at the time when she had that relationship.
Well, we
Yeah.
skipped ahead, so we missed that year and a bit between them going to New Caprica and then when we pick up with them on New Caprica. So we skipped the portion in time for when she was, I guess, got pregnant because she was heavily pregnant by the time we came back to the show. So there's that time discrepancy, which probably will be used in the future because
Where the frack is
I have
me?
a feeling
What?
that now that because I have a
Dead.
feeling now that Tyrell knows that he's a Cylon, will he have Nicholas potentially tested to understand if he is a Cylon or not, or will that be used because they have to figure out because the whole thing of Hera being so special. Why is Hera so special if there's another potentially half Cylon kid also floating around? Like Nicholas would have
But that
had
could be
some
like
sort of importance.
it could be like a revelation kind of later on though that you've got a male hybrid child and a female hybrid child, and then that could be like the next level of the Cylon evolution is that if they got together and if they
Right.
could have children that would be like a whole new
Probably.
version of the Cylons.
May I
I
make
don't
a
think-
terribly inappropriate statement? If
You don't need our permission.
if Hot Dog caught A, the slow clap, and B, Parenthood from Callie, I hope he didn't catch religion from her.
Oh Jesus!
Speaking of religion, how
wanna
about
say
that
something.
weird freaking temple land?
Oh, we'll get to that in a minute. That's actually, we're starting the Church of Johnny. But-
It's true.
John
No.
just wants to talk about Starbuck being back on this show.
Clarissa,
for
Clarissa,
so
I
long.
appreciated my meta joke there. And it
Johnny
was in
just-
very poor taste, but I know you appreciated it.
John just wants to talk about how clean Starbuck is and how she showed up and then all of the Starbuck stuff because he missed her so dearly for the 3 episodes that she was actually gone from the show.
Was
Because
it 3? I
we
thought it
all
was just 2.
True.
Well, she showed up at like the last episode, like the last possible moment of the last episode.
Yeah.
So
Truth.
Oh, everyone be quiet. Bobby wants to say something.
Thanks,
You've
Amy.
announced in the chat.
were you
Well, I
gonna put it in
tried.
all caps?
I tried a bunch of times. I want to know, actually, I don't know if it's a question. All those guys, when they got into that room, when they
Mhm.
decided they're Cylons, right? Now they're walking around thinking they're Cylons or knowing they're Cylons. And they're just like not freaking out at all about it.
I
Well,
got
that
the
is
impression
normal.
of an internal
Well,
freak
why?
out.
Why isn't, remember the last time Terrell thought he was a Cylon? He tried killing himself all the time. He was just stupid and off the wall because he got an idea, but now he's fine. And Anderson is just like weird but fine.
I wonder if it's because they're not the only ones, because they have come to the realization as a group,
Mhm.
and also the way that they've come to the realization of it has kind of like activated something in their heads, like switched them on as such that it makes their brain more able to accept it than if it was just human type paranoia.
They
And the
don't seem
fucking,
okay with it. They just seem like they're handling it like really well.
no, and I think that gets back to the absolutely fracking badass monologue that Saltai gives in the season 3 finale when he's like, "I am Saltai. I am an officer. I am an XO on the Battlestar Galactica, and I'm going to be me, no matter what."
Yeah, no matter what I am or whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's
like I am still me.
yeah. So
It was pretty freaking awesome moment.
they're also probably not freaking out a lot is because they also said we have to act like everything is normal. Like we can't just start freaking out or we can't be missing from our places where we're supposed to be because then people would notice and people would start to ask questions. So they don't want to have any questions rise from them being missing from their supposed stations. That's how I like can kind of explain that. It's just like because that they weren't supposed to actually get anything wrong for the most part. But that brings up a valid point, Mom, about Tyrell and him acting so strange though when he first thought he might be. So maybe that was his earliest version of Cylon awakening was
Yeah.
throwing himself off the build, like throwing.
Acceptance in stages.
Yeah. The rest
Well,
of
no,
them just.
I think you might be onto something, Mackenzie, because like you think about the beginning of the episode with the scene with Ty on the deck.
Mhm.
Like that thought terrifies the living hell out of him.
Man.
You know, it because he's like, I am me, and just that thought that he has that I might have no control over my actions. I might be programmed to do something like shoot my best friend.
Yeah.
You know, it absolutely terrifies him.
That makes sense, though. I mean, it's not like that's a groundless paranoia. They've seen it happen already.
No, and that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I'm not saying it's a grainless paranoia at all, but it's a paranoia regardless. It's I'm a pretty paranoid person, but I don't think it's unreasonable. Remember, zombie apocalypse goes down, my house is the one to come to.
Yeah, and through that whole thing, too, like we're seeing these different elements, and eventually it all calms down, and then we have obviously Kara showing up, looking a little different, and first thing she says coming off of the ship is like to get cleared for to come on to the Galactica so she can have a shower. That sounded the most un-Starbuck-like thing ever. Let me do my work. Let me have your work done as fast as it's possible so then I can have a shower. I was like, that doesn't sound like you.
It's not Starbuck. That's right there. It's
But I'm like, that doesn't sound like you, but okay. I'm like,
We're all so obsessed with Starbuck not taking showers.
yeah.
It was one of the original hashtags. Hashtag
She must
stinky
have got a
Starbuck.
She got a mental
True.
overhaul while she was gone.
Yeah, mental overhaul. She had such a nice Earth shower. She actually wanted to try it on Galactica and see how different it was.
Maybe Earth showers are more satisfying though, because again, you've got the gravity with the water.
Oh.
It's a more thorough clean.
Real gravity.
Real gravity. Maybe the water pressure's not enough in space.
Maybe we just have better shower heads here.
And then we obviously see that Lee just all of a sudden like doesn't question anything. He like runs up and hugs her, and then everybody else is just standing there, pretty much with their jaws dropped at the fact that she's here, and it's like been 2 months, and they have the Marine show up, and Anders is like, I told them you were too fracking hard to kill. It's like Auntie, and she.
I have to say though, I think that Jamie Bamber played this really well. He's like, I shouldn't believe this is you,
but he does.
I want to believe this is you. On the same note, like, you are my best friend in the world, and you're acting just like my best friend in the world, who I just watched die a couple months ago. Like, I thought he played it really well.
Well, that also bleeds into his conversation that he has with Adama later.
Oh yeah, we're gonna get into that one.
So,
because that conversation is that's some big shit right there.
Yeah, and when she kind of is like, wait, what? Because Anders shows up obviously in his Viper in training vest or jacket or whatever, and she's like, I've been gone for 6 hours, and you decided that you've taken up training for Vipers, and she's like, no, you've been gone for 2 months, and they're like, what?
So what?
I wonder if there was like a different, like, besides that, like if there might have been like a different, like a deleted scene almost of like a conversation that been like, so what happened in these 2 months? Like, then it's like gone in this episode, like with a bunch of them. Like, does she have her like stuff? Like, if that would have been a funny thing, if like she walks into her cabin and she's like, where's my shit? Or whatever. It's like, where did it go? Or whatever. Like, that would have been funny because they didn't.
All
have
right,
it.
seriously, like, everybody, do you think Kara's the last Cylon? Bobby?
No.
Nope,
No.
I don't think so.
Maybe.
Too obvious. It's too
I-
obvious now.
It says it's too obvious, but I think it could be a double bluff. Like they're deliberately waving it in our faces to make us think she's not, but then that's because she is.
Right.
I don't
Oh,
know. I'm so
damn those double
conflicted.
bluffs.
And we do
I
have a
think-
candidate for. We have another candidate for the last Cylon too, which we'll get to in a moment.
I think the final 5 have something to do with keeping Kara from doing whatever damage they think she's going to do.
Mhm.
What damage do you think she's going to do?
I don't know. I'm not sure what I got out of that Razor episode. But I don't know. She's dooming the human race, I think. I don't know. I didn't really. I don't know. I didn't take a lot out of that show that made any sense to me, but that's what I got out of it. She's got to be watched. But I think that's what the final 5 are for.
She may not be a Cylon, but she was probably brought back because she's important for the Cylons. Like she's
I
still
don't like-
alive because she's important for the end game.
You know how all the Cylon people seem to have had like this mental conflict going on. They're all like a little bit bonkers. The fact that Starbuck was about to hold a gun to the president at the end of this episode and looking all sweaty like a normal stinky self kind of made it look like she was having a bit of a breakdown, and that was one of the things that made me go, maybe she is.
Yeah, I thought those things were shot really well. Speaking of the breakdown, like every time the ship jumps, she gets this like.
Yeah, it's like, I think they've mentioned before that the jump thing is sometimes a little bit uncomfortable for people.
Right, but
Very early on, I think it was Callie that said she hated it because of how it felt. But the fact that she's suddenly so sensitive to it, it's like, is that some sort of machine thing? I can't see.
or is she telling the truth? Is she telling the truth? We're getting further and further and further away,
Well,
and
she's
every
probably-
time we jump, it gets further. It gets more. I think her wording is it gets
Yeah.
more big.
Yeah,
What
but
direction
the fact
was she
that she's
going?
having like a physical response to it. It's not just her going, oh God, we've jumped again. I know that they're jumping in a different direction. It's like it's causing her physical pain, which makes me think there's like some element of her
She left a part of
weird
her
machine
on
stuff
Earth.
going on. See, now I'm convincing myself again that she is, and I can't, like, every time I think of something else, I'm like, oh, but then there's this, and maybe she's not. And then it's like, oh, but there's this, and she could be. It's,
She's a hybrid.
I fuck with my own head more than you do, John. It's not. You think you wind us up. We sit here sort of
I need to up my game. Then I'm not properly doing my job.
talking ourselves into corners and weird twists and turns now.
I think it's because it could be one of those things where it's like, when you stress out a lot, sometimes it manifests in other forms than just mental thing. It could be one of those things where it's like, because she's already been there and she's experienced what it is like, it is hard to then go further back in space time or whatever, like that because she's had that experience there and being in space is like, it's fine, but the fact that she's like going further away from it is negatively affecting her, and she's like, she left a part of herself on Earth or whatever. She's like, I've been there, so it's like she left a piece of herself there almost, and it's like, I don't want to lose that piece of myself because we keep going in the opposite direction. And I feel like because it's Laura Rosalind, she wants to believe that it could be like for her own selfish reasons as to why she's like, no, we're going the opposite direction. We're doing instead of going clockwise, we're going counterclockwise to find Earth. It's like because she wants to do it herself and doesn't want Starbuck to get all the credit, basically. So yeah, it's like one of those situations. Because in the beginning it was all about how Rosalind was meant to find this who was supposed to be the dying leader that was supposed to bring them to safety or whatever. So it's like unless Starbuck somehow has something really wrong with her brain and that's why she keeps going ow every time they jump farther away. It's like her brain is meant to like signify that they're going further and further away.
It's Cylon circuitry. Oh God, I've convinced myself now. Probably until next week's episode, and then I'll talk myself into another.
And then I'll be a different person. Then I'll be like, no, it's this one.
Yeah, this is what happens when you're trying to come up with interesting theories at like 3:30 in the morning.
Yeah, that's it.
Starbuck doesn't make any sense.
No.
And John's just being cryptic in the chat. See, this is where wibbly wobbly timey wimey comes in.
Well, they're making it looks like Starbuck is trying to lead them to Earth, which is good.
Mm-hmm.
But then if she's the whatever catalyst of doom, who threw that in there? Did they do that just to screw with our heads? Or
I've just had another idea.
Good? Is she bad? What?
I've just had another thought though. What if it's because the hybrid thing, like sort of vision of her saying she's going to lead them to Earth, and it means her taking them through that nebula, so it looks like all of them blow up and everyone dies, but actually they jump through the wormhole thing and do go to Earth, so they think that she's going to lead them all to like getting blown up, but actually she's not, because she didn't blow up, she like went through a wormhole or something.
Yeah, we kind of, I know this is going back for a second, but yeah, they did, because
I
when
hope
she did
Johnny
show
doesn't
up,
get mad at me. I'm going to drop a clue for all of you.
We like clues.
I don't think he would get angry at dropping a clue. He's not like the angry person. He'll be like, what did you know?
He beats me when you're not around, Mackenzie. He beats me.
No, he doesn't. Johnny doesn't beat people.
No, I'm not a person. He just.
You're a vampire. Forgot.
Okay, my clue. Oh gosh, I'm being such a cunt here. Grammar is very important.
That's it. Okay.
Yeah, that's my clue.
Grammar is very important. Is your clue?
Yes.
Oh,
We
okay.
were discussing the grammar at the beginning of the episode.
So I was onto something.
Yeah, maybe.
Bobby. What were you saying? But yeah, like they did talk about how like when the Cylons did show up, that they did somehow blow up a smaller ship that had like 600 people on it. I can't remember what it was called. It was like P something. So it's like her showing up already is leading to the doom of a bunch of people.
Yes,
So,
we are now at humanity is 39,698 people.
Let's drop below 40 now.
So now 600 babies need to be born in the next little bit for it to be like.
Don't forget the two guys that got their asses handed to them in the bathroom.
Yeah,
I don't think they died.
They're dead.
Baltar did say to her, like, with less of a beating, try not to kill them.
Well, to make it look obvious.
She had a big steel pipe and was just wailing on them. They're not alive.
I think I did. I just tried to They just tried to strangle me to death and were threatening a person that I'd joined a religious cult to follow. I'd be pretty pissed too.
Yeah. Then we got the
She's
whole
pretty
thing.
badass.
Yeah.
Did anybody get the call back?
Or callback.
What, did we audition for something?
When she's beating him with the pipe, did that remind anybody of a certain flashlight scene?
Flashlight scene. Oh, my brain is.
Flash. That was Adama and Doral.
Yeah, Adama and Leoben.
Leo, but yeah, that was like
The very
probably ages ago. Yeah.
intro. But both, I think the cinematography is awesome because both are such, at least for me, were mental throwbacks to 2001.
It didn't occur
Mental
to me at the
throwback.
time, but now you've said it, I do see the resemblance.
Open the door, Hal.
Okay.
I'm afraid
Yeah,
I can't do that, Clarissa.
Open the
your
door,
name's not
John.
Hal.
I keep meaning to ask my Alexa to do that just to see if she says something weird.
Or do you work for the CIA or the FBI? And she's like, I'm not able to answer that question. It's like,
She does. She amuses us because we figured out that it doesn't matter what you actually say. You can get her to add anything at all to your shopping list. Doesn't matter if it's not a real thing. So the kids like adding stupid stuff, and Ben joined in. So my Alexa shopping list currently has a fabulous glittery Cylon as one of its
a diamond encrusted Cylon.
yeah,
Oh my
a
God.
fabulous glittery Cylon, a crossbow. Oh, what else is on there? Half a pound
I'm
of
a
roasted
fabulous
badgers.
glittery Cylon.
Half a what?
Half a pound of roasted badger.
Oh my God.
That's brilliant.
Poo, because kids.
Yeah.
And I
Needed.
think bagpipes and a mighty boosh.
Woo!
A
Bagpipe.
mighty boosh.
One mighty boosh. Yeah.
Are they looking to combine all these things into one?
It's just really funny getting her to read the list back out again. I'll have to video it. And
I'm saying like
Record it, yeah.
Cylon bagpipes that spout poo.
I could ask her to add that.
Anyway.
It's just funny
And for those of
reading
us-
it back.
And for those of us that grew up in a bilingual country, the fact that you're saying a mighty
I'm happy
boosh.
with her singing Christmas songs to me.
But boosh
she did
in
that.
French is mouth.
Oh no! It's in the TV show, The Mighty Boosh.
No, I know. Every time I see
No,
it, though, all I can think is mighty mouth.
Yeah,
The mighty mouse. Interesting.
it's
It's like Mighty Mouse, but with a th at the end. Mighty Mouse.
Yeah. Yeah. And also we get Adama basically taking Starbuck prisoner effectively because you gotta run tests on you, and they find out through Doc Cuddle's Cylon test she's not a Cylon, and they keep her away, but
She
they
might
also
not
have-
be a Cylon, but Felix is still a cunt.
I froze
John.
my beer.
Sorry. Felix is still an unpleasant person.
Yeah, but we missed the thing of when they're analyzing her ship. There's when Tyrell is analyzing her ship, it's like it came off the showroom floor, but it was interesting how the three of them were on the outside, like Tyrell, Ty, and Tori were on the outside of the Adamas and Rosalind, watching them, like they always are. It's like, I'm watching you, and that whole thing of is she a Cylon? I don't know. It's like, would it make a difference? What if they're standing, what if they're somewhere in this ship? And it's well, 3 of the 4 of them are right here. I found that was kind of funny. How they're like,
I thought that was kind of cool too.
but it would have been funny how, like, if the opposite scenario had happened, and like the three of them were silent and they were watching Tyrell, Tori, and Ty interact. Like, that would have been funny too. But it's just funny how that it's like I'm always watching showed up. And what was like another key? Like,
Do you think
yeah,
Adama's going to find out that Ty's a Cylon?
I
think
feel like
we'll find out eventually.
yeah, they're
How do you
gonna.
think that's going to go over?
It's gonna be revealed to them when the information is privy enough to be revealed. Like, it'll probably be like, what do they do? Like the mid-season finale or something like that. How they do like mini break, like a part 1 of part 2. It'll be like one of those cliffhangery type episodes where it's like in the middle of the season when the information is vitally important. They're like, Bill, I gotta tell you something, and it's like one of those things where it's like a dire situation, and it's like, what? It's like, I'm a Cylon, and it's like fade to black or something like that. It's like one of those make it extra dramatic for no reason. Like, I feel like he'll give up that information. It's not gonna be like tortured out of him. Like the rest of them, they might hide it for longer, but
I don't know. I can see this thing with Anders, this episode, is like maybe a sort of foreshadowing thing that they can control other Cylon creations. That it could be a situation like where they're being attacked and the group of them are able to like prevent it in front of everybody and kind of reveal it that way. So everybody's like, oh my God, they're Cylons, but oh my God, they saved us at the same time, to sort of create this, rather than like an instant, like Starbucks reaction. When I found out you were a Cylon, I'd shoot you. That it'd be like a revelation and something at the same time that would cause them to hesitate to attack them for it. That makes
You
sense.
look in this episode, Laura Roslin goes to talk to Six.
Because of the connection she's had with her.
I'm not programmed to think about them, but you're thinking about them right now. It's like,
No, she
like
doesn't
that
say I'm not
break in-
programmed to think about them. She says I'm programmed not to think about them.
yeah. Was
Like, it's like grammar matters very much.
I don't like
It's like
Rosalind.
basically. What'd you say, Bobby?
I don't like Rosalind. I don't
She's
know
gotten a
why.
little bit. Yeah. You think she's gotten more bitchy since she's been back on the Kamala? The Kamala?
Maybe she is kind of bitchy, but she's like one Wade. She doesn't really listen to reason, and it's only good if it's good for her. I don't know. I don't like her.
Well, she is very interconnected to Six now, especially because she dreams about Hera quite frequently. She didn't in this episode, but she dreams about Hera quite frequently.
Excuse me.
And
I can see where you're
Six is
coming
always
from,
there.
Bobby. On the other hand, in her defense, I do have to say she has 39,000 people to be concerned about.
Mhm.
And she has to make what is the best decision for the majority of those 39,000.
And also struggling with cancer coming back, and a complicated relationships that she has with her.
Oh, yes. Is she still staying in your house, Dad?
What?
When Lee questioned Adama about the nature of his and Rosalind's relationship.
Let's just talk about the whole Adama conversation, because for me, that's the crux of this episode, is what Lee has to say and what Adama has to say.
Yeah, if Zach was a Cylon, would it matter? It's like, but if Zach
Yeah.
was a Cylon, how would that work? Because it's like, unless his mother or Adama was a Cylon, like that would like, I don't know if adoption of a Cylon works. Like they didn't like discuss that. Like,
Well, they don't know either, though, do they? But again, that's another thing that could be all foreshadowy about Starbuck being a Cylon, because he considers her to be like a daughter, and that was mentioned in this episode.
Well, he accepted Boomer or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
Eventually, yeah.
Athena, nobody's gonna accept Boomer. She's fucking pretty great.
Well, not
He's dead
Boomer,
now
but
anyway.
Athena. Yeah,
Mm.
Sharon.
Well, still, if
Yeah.
he can accept Athena after Boomer shooting him,
But that was a different Cylon, basically.
he's not
Mhm.
closed-minded there. He's got shot.
That wasn't his alleged daughter, though.
Bless you, Clarissa.
Right. If she was a
Thank
Cylon
you.
or anything else, he's still probably gonna.
Sorry I keep disappearing, you guys. I've got
Accept her.
allergies coming out the wazoo.
No, that's why I keep
Don't worry about it.
I'm not blow my nose off the camera.
Don't worry about it. Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff that like basically that conversation.
Yeah, Clarissa.
Pardon
they
me?
kind of- she said, "Welcome back."
Oh.
That conversation for me, it boils down to it doesn't matter if Starbuck is or isn't a Cylon, that she's still our family no matter what, like everybody else, and
Yeah.
that Lee wants to move on from being his old position, and he wants to try and get in with the government, which might bring him closer to Laura Roslin, which, you know, she's effectively at this point almost it's like virtuing into stepmother territory. So
I think poor Lee is so idealistic that he thinks that, hey, I'm a good person. So if I became part of the government, like I could make a change for good.
I would agree that that's how his
Because it's
mindset
not
seems
cynical.
to be.
I mean, he's not running for office like Gaius fucking Baltar.
Mm-mm.
Speaking
looking to
of
be
Gaius,
Gaius. Oh my god.
what?
Well, we'll talk about Johnny B. Superstar here in a second, but I really want I want all of your thoughts on the because to me, like this to me is one of the best dialogue scenes in the entire series. Is Lee and Bill sitting 5 seats away from each other and having this conversation.
I like a little elbow room also.
But they're having this conversation, and this is a conversation that they've needed to have for, in some ways, they've needed to have for since this show started.
Since the beginning of the program. You
I
mean
don't
when
know, their relationship has consistently been shit, really, hasn't it?
it goes ebbs and flows with their relationship. It's good, and then it's like, it's good again, and then it's like,
there's lots
It's
of
still
love
got-
there, obviously.
mhm.
Yeah, there is, but I think there's also still a lot of unresolved issues.
Yeah.
I think, you know, the fact that they were almost estranged, really, weren't they, at the beginning, and then all the drama and stuff has brought them together, but none of it has actually addressed or dealt with the issues that had caused the conflict between them in the first place. And I think the problem is that the slightest disagreement between them brings all that resentment bubbling up again. So they end up with this like love-hate relationship thing going on, and it annoys me, actually. I think I find it quite irritating.
It's gone on too long.
Complex.
Jamie Bamber gets my acting chops for this episode by far. The scene when he like I was talking about, they're sitting in the same room. And he's like, what if Zach came back? Like, would you care? Like, if that didn't hit you in the feels, then you have no soul. I'm sorry, you have no soul.
I mean,
Honestly,
this character that I kind of forgot about for a minute. I was like, oh yeah, there's Zach still. It's like in this equation. I was like, as
Maybe
John
he'll come
runs
back.
away.
Last Cylon.
Imagine.
am I the only one who saw that scene and kind of laughed at themselves a little because all you could think was Zach came back the very next day. Zach came back. They thought he was a goner. And I was just like, that's sad. Just keep watching the show,
Oh my
Clarissa.
god. Oh my god.
But
That's
he's
funny.
like, what if it was Zach that came back? And I was like, man, Zach came back. I just started doing that to myself. So sorry, I'm a terrible human being, John.
God.
All I could think was that song. So it didn't
Yeah.
hit
Oh,
me
you're-
in the feels because I was too busy laughing at my
You're not
own
a terrible
joke in my
human
head.
being.
That was funny though. Yeah, it's like, yeah, because I kind of forgot. Because you're meant to, I guess, for us, because you're wrapped in so many other stories that you forget about the characters that have like died / were never really on the show except for in
That's the thing
flashback
that
form.
ties Lee and William and Kara together is Zach. I mean, he is the thing that ties the three of those characters together.
We could also say that the two of us, that Starbuck and Lee, because of that too, they also have like a different connection as well. Like they have, of course, the connection between the brother that lies between them, which is obviously Zach. But then there's also the two of them have their own relationship. She might have met Lee because of Zach, but based off of their behind the scenes interactions with each other, that it's potential that they could have met one another in like just in a different way if Zach hadn't existed. So like one of those things almost.
I love Kara Thrace.
I think I suspected early on, even in season 1, that she kind of chose the wrong brother as such for some reason.
Mhm.
I can't remember what it was that made me think of it, but I remember that there was a scene with her and Lee, and I was kind of like, oh, she regrets.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's been a couple scenes like that. They've highlighted a couple scenes like that where they're like sitting together or something, and then they start like making out or something, and they're like, "Oh yeah, Zach's coming home" or something like that. Like it's one of those like scenes like that where it's like they tried to hide their
I
affection
don't
for one
think
another.
I don't think that anything actually happened between them when Zach was still alive. But I think
No.
she secretly, like even when she was with Zach and they were engaged and everything was all lovely, I think even at that point she did have feelings for Lee but didn't say anything, and probably vice versa, he did for her, but because of, you know, she was in a relationship with his brother, they didn't do anything about it then.
Oh, but what do you think Kara would have done to Lee's emo, I care about everybody, I try and do the best for everybody in the world, Pisces heart, if
Well, we
they
kinda-
actually ended up together?
Well, we
She'd
kind of
broke
see
it
that.
10 times over, wouldn't she? She has anyway.
Like, she would have stomped it under her fucking boot.
She kind of didn't she, though, later on?
Not intentionally. And that's the thing.
Yeah, intentionally. After they declare their undying love for each other, and then the next day she's like, "Oh, hi, by the way, I just married this guy." You know, it's,
Yeah,
Just thought I'd
she's-
let you know.
She's kind of like a bull in a china shop.
yeah, you don't want to do it. Yeah,
Okay,
You know,
first of all, the Mythbusters disproved that. A bull does not knock anything over in a china shop.
She's
They tried.
bad.
okay.
Bless you. It's just yeah, but I think it would have been worse. Like he would have just became this vacuous, like not a like you'd just be a shell of a human being because you'd have to just deal with Starbuck all the time. Like you would just
if Starbuck was a guy, you would say is the kind of person who kind of thinks with the wrong head.
Yep.
she's far too randy for her own good.
I mean,
And that's
I agree with Mackenzie. I think if she had ended up with Lee, Lee would have turned into Sam, like Sam 2.0.
Yeah,
I
he would have
think
been.
they just wouldn't have
He would have
stayed
put
together.
more of like, because Sam doesn't really put as much, like, Anders doesn't really put up much of a fight, really, with her. He would try and fight with her much more. Like, Lee would fight with her more than Sam does, or that Anders does. To the extent
Sam's
of,
very
like, about
resigned.
issues. Yeah.
I mean, he's just like,
Maybe he's programmed not to fight with Starbuck.
whatever.
I think it's more the fact that he loves her so much, he will still let her treat him like shit, essentially, and just lets her get on with it.
Wait a second.
People
We
ask me why
forgot.
I don't date.
Speaking of the significant others, where was Dee this episode? Unless she was
She's
in the
gone.
background.
She left him. She
Yeah, but-
left him.
She
Doesn't
did.
mean we'll ever see her again.
Like transferred
Oh,
to
it was
another
that
ship.
so briefly,
The one that blew up.
Wasn't she when they were preparing to jump? Wasn't she there?
Yes, but
Yeah, she was. She was on the
but
bridge.
he's
Right.
no longer. I mean, he resigned. He gave up his position. He gave up his military rank. He gave up his wings.
Mm.
Did he have to give up his
that's what
quarters?
the whole conversation that, like, to me is the crux of the episode. Like I said, that whole conversation between him and Dama is about. Like, Adama's like, "Hey, you can have your job back." Like, I'm so, like this is the biggest olive branch I have ever seen Bill Adama extend to somebody.
And well, you know what though? But if Apollo doesn't think that's his path, then he doesn't think
Yeah.
it's his path.
No, and that's the thing. What I think is so awesome is that when he says no, like, Adama actually respects it.
Yeah.
Of course.
He doesn't get in his face. He doesn't get all nasty about it. He's like, I hate this, but I get it.
Mhm.
It makes me very unhappy, but I get it and I understand it. And as a parent, it's that whole, you're my child, and I do not like the decision you're making, but I am going to support you because you're my child.
Yeah. On that note,
Yeah, I've got to pop off.
you have to go support your children.
Yeah, I actually have to go to work for a couple of hours today because we're so ridiculously busy. So I'm going to pop off and I will catch up with the rest of the stream at some point. But I'll see you guys soon.
Yeah, we got Amy.
Bye,
there.
Amy.
Love you.
Yeah.
We're going to be
See
wrapping this
you.
up pretty shortly.
Mhm.
I want to
Bye.
know your thoughts on the
Morning, Amy.
Church of Baltar, though.
I will let you know.
Drop them in the comments section.
Cool. Bye.
Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah, we got a rating in our Cylon, so it's fine.
Yep.
But
Yeah,
yes,
I think-
before we get off of here, let's talk about the Church of Baltar for a minute. Because I really want to
Church-
hear your thoughts.
Church of Baltar. Good old Pious Gaius. Hashtag Pious Gaius.
Parts got it.
I've decided that's who
Yeah.
he
No,
is.
that's fucking awesome.
There you go. Hashtag Pious Gaius.
Hashtag pious guys.
Amy, Amy's like, poor Bobby. She misses Amy already.
Oh.
Is Clarissa
Huh?
quiet again?
No,
Am I quiet? Can you not hear me?
Well, I didn't hear her.
Well,
Bobby
well,
can't
well.
hear you. I can hear
Can
you
you hear me?
loud and clear.
Oh. Do I need to leave?
No, I'll pop out and come back.
Do I need to leave? Is
Oh,
that
I
no,
hear you.
I think you're good. She'll come back in a second. The Church of Gaius Baltar, I mean, you gotta have some religious fanatics out there. It was interesting to see that there's these other characters in this not saying that this is a side storyline, but this is like more of the smaller issue of this episode, which is Gaius Baltar in this community of women and some men that just are devoted to Gaius Baltar, and they want to be like with him and like support him and all of this stuff, and it's just
Bobby, do you
interesting.
think you're right? I mean, you made this prediction like months ago.
That guy,
Is Gaius God?
he's something.
He's Pious Gaius.
He's Pious Gaius. He's something. He's something important. They're making him important. They're making him like a, what are those people called?
Messiah?
Yeah. Yeah. They're definitely.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember where Baltar is positioned in that picture. So,
In which picture?
The
In the photo?
the promotional picture that we get
Reveal.
of
You mean?
The Last Supper.
Yeah.
I see.
Because it's
I
like
never studied that.
6
Here, I'll
is
pull it up.
posed standing, sort of in the place of Jesus.
I'll pull it up for you,
And
Bobby.
Gaius is looking up
Yeah,
at
Mackenzie, if you
her.
pull that up, that would be greatly appreciated.
Yeah, it shows off the key characters in this. 2 seconds. It makes me like I think like along the lines of Bobby, with the fact that Baltar is important, but I don't know if he's presented as a godlike figure, but not in the direction but not is God personified almost. It's like he's the god for the Cylons, but not like meant to be like the savior of humanity, kind of almost.
Well,
It's
Yeah,
like
by
that's
God,
meant to be
Cylon.
if you guys want, I will break this down, and it's not spoiler, because if you've seen the painting, then it's all fair game. So if you would like, I will break down the positions that these characters are in, and whose positions they are in from the painting of the Last Supper.
Oh, good, because I don't know them. I don't know it.
If you would like, because to me it's terribly interesting, and oh my god, I fucking ate my pillow obsessing about this for a year and a half.
Well, how long is it going to take? Because I got to go to bed. I got to
5
get up late.
minutes.
Huh?
5 minutes as soon as the picture comes up.
I got 5 minutes.
You got to
Yeah.
click on it, Don.
Oh, sorry. And then we'll talk about the Church of Gaius and your thoughts about that.
Yeah, I'll try and. I think
Okay,
I'm able
so,
to zoom in a
obviously,
little bit.
everybody knows who Christ is in this picture, right?
So 6, she's an angel or something.
6 is
Well,
in the
I'm
position
saying-
that Jesus was at the Last Supper.
Yeah,
But
if
when
this,
she was explaining herself, she seemed to be like in an angel position.
now the other
Remember-
6 is Thomas.
Who's Thomas?
One of the
Saint Thomas.
disciples.
Doubting Thomas. Rosalind is Bartholomew, and
Ty.
Ty. We'll get to Ty in a minute, because that's gonna
Wait, who's Bartholomew then?
Another disciple.
be Rosalind. Rosalind is
Okay.
Bartholomew.
Rosalind is Bartholomew.
Well,
Apollo.
I don't know these. So
Apollo is Timothy.
Yeah.
you need to
They're
step
just
more.
followers.
Walter is Peter.
Of
Are
the,
they all disciples?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
It's
they're
all
all
I-
representing disciples.
That's the entire point. Is it's a reenactment of the Last Supper. If you look at the Last Supper, you will notice that there is an empty chair with a cup in front of it. I wonder
That-
who would be sitting there.
You know me and my pet theory. Ooh, sorry.
The fifth Cylon.
Starbuck is Peter the Younger.
I don't think any of the disciples though were that close to one another, and it's like as Anders is basically kissing Starbuck's forehead.
You
Just
know,
joking.
if I could pull up the painting, because the positioning is almost the same.
Yeah, I'll try and grab a high def picture of that one.
Anders is Timothy.
Ah,
We've got 4 more people. I'm not going to tell you who Judas is.
I just lost my pen.
Oh no. Okay, this picture helps me not at all because I don't know religion, so all those disciples don't have any meaning to me.
Hold on. I'm gonna stop and grab a new picture. Give me 2 seconds. Grab a new picture. There you go.
Okay,
I
so
think.
that's the original painting.
Oh, the original one. Give me 2 seconds.
No,
Well-
because yeah, don't block it out. This is the original painting. There's a reason that every person in the advertisement are where they are and in the position that they are. Ron and Dave are fucking brilliant. That's Clarissa. She's a big Star Trek nerd.
Sorry, I was looking at the photo of the Last Supper.
I have it pulled up.
No, I was just saying Ron and Dave are brilliant.
Yeah, I don't know how much Dave did any writing, but Ron did, and he worked more on Deep Space Nine than other shows, and Deep Space Nine is my favorite probably of all the Star Trek series. So I've thoroughly enjoyed his episodes. I like his writing.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that this is Da Vinci's Last Supper.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's more than
Yeah.
one artist that did the Last Supper. So
But it's like, look, I can grab a different one if John wants a different one that's needed.
No, it's I
It was just the first one that was like high def enough that we could
Yeah.
like.
it's
No,
probably one of the most well known.
this is actually far better than the real one, because the real one has been exposed to the elements so much that it's actually, if you see it, it's so broken down.
Didn't they just restore it just a few years ago?
Yeah, but even then, it's still pastel paintings, and yeah, it's broken down, and it's 500 some odd years old, and it's not going to look as good as it did. It's not going to look this good.
Yeah, this was just on.
But I do.
Heaven.com.
Oh my
Because
gosh,
it's a fresco, isn't it? It's not
Yes.
it's not a painting in a frame. Like you have to go to, isn't it in the Basilica or something
Uh-huh.
in Italy?
Yeah, it's actually
Yeah.
painted on the wall.
And in the. But yeah, it's a fresco, isn't it?
Yes, it's a fresco.
Yeah.
Okay.
But do you notice a difference between this picture and the other one?
The other one, hold on, I have to remember what the other one was. I can
Battlestar.
I can pull up that one.
There's a
Again.
pretty significant difference. Oh Gosh, I'm dropping clues like flies.
I'll pull up the other one again. Give me 2 seconds.
Is it Jesus sitting in that?
You have to click on it. There you go. Well, it's that on our right of side, it's mostly like going, what the hell? Like with the last 3. So
Was that 1-6 pointing at the other one?
Yes.
Accusing?
yeah. And there's that too.
Yes, and if you go with the original concept of the painting, the 6 who is pointing at the other 6 is Thomas. And the other 6 is Christ.
Very interesting how her pointing finger looks very much like the picture of God and Adam.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Oh, and none of you have noticed what I'm trying to point out to you, like I'm throwing it at you.
I don't know religion.
Well, that's the thing that I'm going to ask is would one have to be familiar with the disciples and the role that they played in Jesus' life in order to interpret
No,
the
you
clue
just
that
have
you're
to be
giving?
familiar with math.
And as you know, we're all not that good at math.
That's as
So
far as I'm going.
Okay,
We
so
just
this
had this. We just had this talk about how we're not good at math before the show, you guys. So
there must be a person.
so he's doing it just to rub it in our faces.
No.
How many people are there?
hey, Catherine.
How many
Bobby.
people?
Oh, Bobby. I think Bobby might have caught it.
Well,
Was
you
that
said
Bobby?
missing.
There's
Already.
there's one person missing.
Right.
So who's missing from the other who's in the other picture that's not here?
Our last Cylon. Oh wait, you know who's not there?
Judas.
Tori's not there.
This is true.
All the other known sleeper Cylons are there. All of the Cylons that are on the ship are in that picture that we know of, except for Tori.
So which disciple is she?
Well, that's a good question because
We
we know that 6 and pointing 6 are Cylons. We know Ty's a Cylon. We know that Anders is a Cylon. We know that Tyrell is a Cylon. And we know that Athena is a Cylon. So every Cylon in the fleet that we know of is in this photo, except for Tori.
Simon's not. Leoman's not. Jorel's
No, but
not.
they're not in the fleet.
On
They're the enemy.
Battlestar Galactica. On the Battlestar Galactica. Like,
Right.
So why is
our
Star
home ship.
You know, I'm just trying to fuck with you even more, right?
But it's interesting. It was just something I just noticed about the picture. I was like, oh, yeah.
But if
I
they're
know-
all silent, why is Starbuck in there?
No, but I'm not saying that there's only Cylons in the picture, but I'm saying that all the Cylons on Galactica that we know of are in that image,
Oh, I thought
except for Tori.
Right.
Even though the president's there
So
in the
I
photo
just
as
looked
well.
it up. I just looked it up. Judas was not there at the end of was not present during the Last Supper.
No,
And
that's
Judas
true.
Was the one that betrayed.
Jesus.
Yeah.
No, actually, Judas was
his
at
best
that
friend.
supper. If you read the Bible, he
Well, this was a quick Google search, so
Christ tells him, "Go do what you have to do."
Right.
but still,
Christ literally tells him, "Go do what you have to do," and then you have the betrayal of Christ and so forth. So, do you think that they're just like it's Ron and Dave fucking with your head, or do you think that Red Dress 6 is actually Jesus?
I don't know that these are supposed to be literal
Yeah, I
connections.
like her in the angel sense better.
as John just conveniently turns off his webcam.
I'll
well,
be
'cause
right
we-
back. I just have to
Yeah.
I'm
attend
just
to it.
joking. I'm just
He's laughing.
joking. I'm just thinking that because we've always seen Six as the not parallel, but she's always been opposite of Baltar. And if Baltar is supposed to be God, then she could be technically personified as like Mother Mary almost, and like that, like Mary, like Jesus' mother, so to speak, and maybe Hera is presented as Jesus, like the one that was meant to be the son of God and to save everybody else. Or is it Sharon that's supposed to end up being Mother Mary anyway? Or and that whole thing.
I have a question too.
Mhm.
The Six that's standing in Jesus' position at the table,
Mhm.
is that head Six or is that Caprica? Because they've both been seen in that red dress.
Six, or is it Baltar's head six?
That's what I just said.
Yeah, no. I'm saying, like, that's the question. That's that
Repeating.
first time I saw that advertisement, and they put that
Yeah.
out like 4 months before the show came out,
Hey AJ.
and I was just sitting there.
Woo.
Okay, it like, what the frack is going on here? Because oh, hey, AK.
No problem. Yeah, there's yeah, and the fact that also Terrell's holding a knife in this is quite like what?
I have another question for you. Do you think that Baltar has finally turned a new leaf
In this episode or in this picture?
at the end of this episode? We'll get back to the picture in a second if you would like to. But in this episode, has Baltar finally turned a new leaf?
Oh, he's turned a new leaf, all right. A new, like, kind of crazy leaf. Because he's just like...
Weirwood leaves?
No, I'm talking
Right?
about the wee little Baron.
No, I know. The little boy and everything. And he's letting it go to his head.
Actually, no, if you pay attention, he lets it ungo from his head.
What?
Bobby. He's so cute.
Like, as the episode goes on, I mean, yeah.
He has doubts. He's like, these people are crazy town.
I mean, I did totally shagged her too. But as the episode goes on, more and more, he's like, I am not. Like, do you think he meant it when he said, take my life?
Sure. Oh, yeah, I do.
Don't take this little boy's life.
Yeah.
Like, do you think he meant it? And so do you think this is a new Gaius Baltar now?
I mean, newly mentally damaged in a way that he wasn't mentally damaged before by all the other fracked up stuff that he's been going through. Yeah. I'm still heavily on the fence on this whole whether Gaius is really, whether he believes it or not doesn't mean anything.
What if Bobby's right? Bobby thinks he's God.
Well,
I can see
good
that.
on you, Bobby.
I can see that he's more of the God figure because if the sixes that he's seeing in his head, like, because he's seeing six in his head for a reason, and she most likely died during the, unless I can't remember at this moment, she probably died during the
She's sitting in a
explosion.
jail cell having like heart to hearts with
The
fucking
president.
the president.
or like that, or like remembers it. So it's like seeing the angels thing, like or the idea of seeing angels of her in his head is like not that hard to like suspect, or well, like having that be a thing. Like,
So maybe Bobby's are half right. Maybe Baltar isn't necessarily God, but he might be a Messiah.
well, he's important to their end in the end of this story for a reason, for both the humans and for the Cylons. And he's supposed to be there to protect Hera, because that's his big thing. Besides being Gaius Baltar, is to protect Hera and be essentially Hera's godfather. In this, so
Yeah.
there's reasons as to why he's this way, and he, like, I'm assuming the rest of the main characters are Lee, Starbuck, Laura, and like Bill are like going to be obviously the most important people for the end of the show in terms of bridging that gap, and Baltar's leading the charge with that. Like,
Yeah, what do you
especially
think that? What do you think of the fact that Rosalind's like first idea was like, oh, throw her in the brig?
for who? Starbuck?
Yeah, like
Well, you have to question it. Like,
Well, they're
someone who's
right in the midst of a battle.
yeah.
I'm
She's
just
bound to be
curious,
reactionary.
as everybody's.
Yeah, it's like you have to be precautious because you don't know. Like they said during the thing about how this could be like her just talking to Lee could have been mind manipulation. Like, they could have gotten her recording somehow, and then she's talking to Lee, but she's not actually there. Like, she didn't know. Like, we as the audience knew that she was there, but everybody
Yeah.
in, like, I don't know, the war room didn't know that it was actually her. So the fact that she's like automatically goes, send her to the brig, doesn't surprise me at all, because that's what they did pretty much with everybody who's come on the ship unexpectedly.
But that was at
basically.
the beginning. I mean, let's take it right to the end. We did end the episode with Starbuck holding the president at gunpoint. That wouldn't have happened if she'd gone to the brig. Like, think about it. She wasn't necessarily wrong, at least
No.
from her point of view.
Do you think
At that
she's
end of the
trying to-
gun,
Do you think she's planning on killing the president, or do you think she's?
no, I think she's hell bent on making demands. I don't think
Yeah.
she's gonna kill her. No.
Because that would create a chain reaction of events that would, like, completely sideswipe this show, like, into a different direction. Like,
I think
and that would,
yeah.
We do have
Because
an
then-
entire other season.
I do think that this is going to sort of like mark a change in their regard for one another without question. But I think that she's going to walk up and she's going to say, look how easy it was for me to come here and almost blow your head off. If I wanted you dead, I'd make you dead. I'm not a Cylon. Turn this boat around and listen to what I'm telling you. I think that's the conversation that's going to happen. I don't think she's going to try and kill her at all.
I like that.
yeah.
I'm not saying you're right or wrong, but I like that a lot.
It
It's
just
going-
seems
That's
like
how I would negotiate a contract.
Yeah, it's basically
under
what.
duress.
Personally, that's how I would negotiate a contract.
Yeah, like, what's gonna probably happen is that it's gonna be one of those things. It's like, you want all the glory, which comes for us finding Earth. Well, I know where it is. So if we work together, then we can actually get there faster, kind of thing. Because we all know that Rosalind's supposed to be the one that's the dying
Do
leader.
you really
that
think
leads
she
them
wants
to-
glory, though? Do you really think Rosalind wants glory?
She was holding on to those scripture books so hard those early in those seasons. Like, she
No,
was
but-
believing every single word about that.
Yeah,
so-
but I don't think that necessarily means she wants glory. I mean, my assumption would just be she believes in this strongly enough. Like, saying somebody wants glory for what they do, like, I don't think she really cares.
She wanted to win against Baltar. That obviously
She
didn't
wouldn't.
happen, but she wanted
Yeah.
to be known for something, and to be like the fact that she lost, and that Baltar is a free person. So to be the fact that she's one of the people that was able to bring humanity to its rightful place, she would want that. She doesn't want to just be known for like throwing out a Game of Thrones thing. It's like I want to be a person that people will remember me by. Just like not like what is it like Stannis' quote over was like, I don't want to be a page in someone else's history book. Like I want to be understood by the people that come afterwards. That kind of thing. Like
Okay.
that's the mentality that she's coming from. That's why she hid her cancer for so long. That's why she did all of these other things. It's because she wants to be known for something greater than she is. And if she can work with Starbuck on it, it would exponentially make it tenfold almost.
How will
I
you
would like.
feel if the next episode starts out with President Rosalind getting a bullet in her head?
Oh well, we'll see. But here's the thing that,
yeah.
No, my question was, how will you feel?
like I said, we'll see. I'll know when it happens.
I
won't
mean,
mind.
then it basically makes everything that she, like all of those storylines of her like fighting for justice, nothing. Because then it just means that her storyline just ceases to have any importance. Basically, that whole thing was a red herring from the beginning.
Which happens to most of us in our life. We find out that our storylines have no importance.
Well, let's not forget too that the position that she's in right now, like we can't forget how many people in history have been victim to their own ego, simply trying to portray themselves or trying to spread their religious or spiritual fervor, right? Like, look at televangelists. Like, how many of them over the last, like, 25 years, they were so inspirational and they believed their own hype, and then they got caught with their hand in the cookie jar in some way or another.
Never take religion from a man named Jim.
Right? That's funny. But
That's funny.
especially if his wife wears a lot of eye makeup. But
oh no, I'm not just talking about that Jim. I'm talking about.
No, I know, but I'm just saying he's just one of them.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah,
makeup too.
There are plenty of people out there that, in their religious and righteous fervor, lose themselves in their own egos and vanity, and that's not uncommon.
So you're saying that there's a risk that Laura Roslin is a zealot?
Is high on herself, absolutely.
I think.
But
so
all I
too.
was
I
said
think that's
for
why
this.
I don't like her.
Any of you Star Trek Deep Space Nine fans out there, think of Laura Roslin and then think of Kai Wynn. Okay? Think about when she went from being a Vedic to a Kai, and in the Vedic assembly, how she campaigned to become Kai. So just look at the parallels and the fact that Dan was also a writer on Deep Space Nine. All right? So yeah, I see some parallels there, and for those of you who watch Deep Space Nine, you all remember what happened to Kai Wynn in the end. So,
Bobby, what were you saying?
I don't know.
Well, I don't know because I can't read minds. If I could read minds, I'd still be married. No, actually,
if you could read minds, you'd.
If I could read minds, I would have never been married.
You'd probably be better at your job with the whole thing with the guessing what people want to drink. I want this. Here you go. It's like the imagine. Yeah, I don't like. if the show flips itself on its head and has Rosalind killed, I'd be like, really? Um, because again, that just throws it out of kind of left field. But then
Rosalind getting killed may or may not happen, but from this point on, like, I'm just warning you all bets are off.
Don't worry.
In the words of my very good friend Cypress Hill, when the shit goes down, you better be ready.
Well, we do all watch Game of Thrones.
Because
expect the unexpected, all that shit too.
expect the unexpected until, you know, you got to worry about how much money HBO is paying you, and you're trying to get a contract with Disney and then turning it down.
We're used
not
to losing characters.
I'm not going to be a whinger. There's so many content creators out there who are whingers. I'm not going to whinge. I think there were
I
some
love the Hound.
poor decisions that were made, and I'm not going to.
Thought you weren't gonna whinge, John.
No, but my point is that we are used to losing characters that we love.
Yeah.
So if we lose characters that we love,
Yeah, we haven't lost
we
any.
can take it. Don't worry, man. We got this.
Yeah, we haven't lost many characters in a while.
Is finding out somebody's a Cylon losing that character?
Losing the persona that they once were, in an aspect. It's like losing part of them, their old self.
I'm saying, like, as a viewer, like, if you have this person who you like, you're in love with, you're like, they're fucking awesome, and then it turns out they're a Cylon.
You lose a part of them, but then you also gain another with like the intrigue of what happened before. Like, how did Anders become who he is now? How did Tyrell become who he is now? How did Ty become who he is now? How Tori became who she is now? Like, how
Look
did
at the
that
journey
happen?
Yeah.
Like, we know their programmed journey from wherever their farthest memory is till now, but what was the one that they actually happened?
And you have to take into consideration, like, something is going on here. It is established. Saul fracking Ty has been around for over 40 years.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. These guys were planted a long time ago. Long time ago.
So do you think it even has anything to do with the Cylon War?
We'll see.
It seems like...
Well, that's what I'm fucking asking you.
The temple means something, because Tyrell did say that the temple was because his father was religious.
Yeah.
And something like that. So
yes, Dad was a priest.
Not saying because this bends the Cylon rules, but it's like in that aspect of Cavill is religious. What if Cavill kept them locked in the original version of the tomb, like, and was like waiting for later to show up later when it was most important? It's like, but instead of using my grandpa or my son or whatever, like, if they're supposed to be the first five that created everybody else, instead of saying my father makes sense instead of I am the father and this XYZ happens, like, kind of thing. And it's
Good
like
night,
keeping
Bobby.
them there. Bye, Bobby.
Actually, Bobby, we're probably going to be signing off here in just a minute.
Yeah, we should probably do our ratings and our Cylons. And
if everybody wants to do their ratings and their Cylons, please do their Cylon.
Their Cylon, pardon me.
But you can have multiple, I thought you said, based off of last week. It's like you can guess that's the last one. That's what you said last time. It's like you can guess more than one for it to be the last one. But I know I have Amy's.
Yes. Okay. Why don't you read Amy's off first?
So it says, Amy says that her episode rating was 9.7 creepy Coltars, and that her final Cylon is Starbuck.
Nice.
So
I was just gonna say, I guess you didn't give any predictions.
I guess not. No.
How about you, Clarissa?
For me, I give it 9.5 followers of Pious Gaius. And I'm making my final Cylon. Why am I gapping out? Tom Zarek.
Nice. Okay, I can see that.
So Bobby's rating is 9.5 out of 10, but what, Bobby?
Oh, I don't know. I'm too tired to think.
But Clarissa, what is your prediction for?
My prediction, I think I stated my prediction earlier, is that I don't think that Starbucks going to shoot the president. I think that she's going to make her demands and be like, I could have done this. That was my prediction from the beginning, was that she's not really going to shoot her. She's going to be like, listen, I would have killed you if I was a Cylon, so listen to what I'm telling you. That's what I think is going to happen. Because that sounds very Starbucky.
Starbucky.
Hashtag Starbucky.
Starbucky O'Hare.
I like your new adjective.
Starbucky.
Bobby, do you have a prediction?
No.
Mackenzie.
So, in the process of getting the picture, I found like that. I feel like that, obviously, besides that, is more significant. So we're gonna get another 6 showing up, but that's not besides the point. So my prediction, though, is that we have that, because going back to the whole thing about being the final 5 being so important, that the final 5 were at the original temple because it's so old, because they're so old, and that that's why they were there when Diana saw them all. That's why they were there, because they were kept there for a reason.
And she said, I am so sorry.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was you, is what she said. I didn't know it was you. And the person that she said, I didn't know it was you, was probably someone important, and leads me to my prediction of who the last person is, and it's Ellen Ty, and that Ellen Ty was like a quote-unquote mother figure to her, and she's like, but she didn't know it, and she's like, I didn't know it was you, kind of thing. And that my rating for it is a 9. Candles and cults don't mix together very well sometimes, because it's like too many incense. It's good, like, candles and cults, candles with cults. I don't know, or candles, cuts, and cults, and maybe cutouts of that altar. But yeah, I think that the person that Diana says, I didn't know it was you, has to be important to her character. So it has to be someone that she knew of that she didn't know at the same time. And while obviously they didn't share a scene together, I think that was.
Well, she's been boxed, so we're not going to see her again.
I think she's coming back. They're gonna break the rules somehow.
You think everybody's coming back?
Everybody's coming back. It's gonna be a whole resurrection party. Woo!
It's like the last season.
Cammy's coming back. Cammy's coming back with her fucking Popeye.
For Bobby. She's coming back for Bobby. But
true.
You know, it's Old Home Week it's the last season of Battlestar Galactica. They'll bring back people. Like same thing. True. Like if Ellen is a Cylon, she came back before whatever, the resurrection ship exploded. Like, that's a possibility. Like, you got to figure out, like, that could be a possibility. It happened in season 2, so.
Well, guys, I gotta run.
Yeah.
Some people just showed up at my house, so
Oh no. So say you
I
will.
gotta go. Friday night. Yeah, it's still only 8:45 here, so it's normal for people to come over still.
Yeah.
All right. Before
All right.
you run off, I'm gonna give this 9.5 Baltar basilicas.
Ooh, very nice. Very nice. I like it.
Yeah.
And
Pius Gaius Balsar Basilica.
I am not going to give either of you any of my predictions because
You
Because you've
predict that there's
already
a next
watched the
episode.
show and you know what happened.
John can give the prediction that there is a next episode. Like,
there will be another episode. But as I said
Excellent
before,
prediction.
we are actually in season 4, and one of the things that Johnny and I have talked about on this channel quite a bit is loving the fact that this show set out with a final end in mind.
Mhm.
So it wasn't like, oh, we ran out of funding or whatever. We're going from point A to point B, and we're telling a story, and then that story will be over.
Mm-hmm.
And so my prediction is that season 4 kicks fracking ass.
I will take your word for it.
And
I
it's
have
going to
go.
blow your fucking head open.
I'm looking forward to the next episode. Thanks for pulling me into this whole gang and this whole show.
Gang.
It's fun. But on that note, I'm sorry, I gotta bail you guys.
Yeah, no problem.
So,
We're gonna
I'm gonna give my "So Say We All."
So say we all.
So say we all. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thanks.
Don't follow leaders and fill parking meters.
Oh, no, Jesus.
Good night.
Bye. Oh, man.
All right, everybody, good night. Thank you so much for coming out. Everybody who's here, the hobbyists, welcome to our new family. I hope you stick around and keep coming back. We had Bobby Catalano, Clarissa. Amy had to drop off early. Bobby had to drop off early. It happens. Yeah, people have bedtimes and shit like that.
Yeah. Johnny was also here.
Johnny was here for a minute. Catherine.
Alicia
Catherine.
King.
Alicia
Kingston. Danny McKay was here. Dark Mother was here.
Yes.
So many friends here.
Thank you so much for stopping by. We have such a great group of friends. And I just want to thank everybody for who comes out, because I know it's late. It's 9 o'clock on a Friday, but it means a lot to me, and I think it means a lot to everybody else who's on this channel. So thank you all. And say we all.
Say we all. Oh man.